Hey, can you guys hear me? Give me a yes or no. Can you, somebody in the chat, let me know if we can hear you, if you guys can hear me. Just want to make sure my mics are on. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sweet. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. You guys know me already. My name is Brian. I'm on StockTwits. It's IXHL 2025 on Twitter is my name. YouTube is my name. Great Trade Repeat is my TikTok. Yeah, I just wanted to jump on here. Just let's talk it out a little bit. I mean, a lot of people are really concerned about what's been going on. I like that question already from Colin. Colin says, hey, Brian, invested in IXHL since July and have an average cost of 90 cents with 430 shares. How should I feel about future projections with that average cost and capital invested lower? Thank you so much, Colin. Thanks for the question. Great question. Let me turn this phone off to do not disturb. So to go with Colin's question, I'll just say that, you know, Colin, I got lucky. I got into the stock at 18 cents in May, and I fell ass backwards into it by accident, day trading. And the way I found the stock, believe it or not, was so lame. I found it by getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day and Googling pre-market movers. I jumped in, I made a few $1,000s day trading it. And then I continued to take a look at it every day because I was so pumped by making a good trade. So I kept watching it. And then I noticed it jumped from that day it was like 47 to like 60 cents or something. I got out, made a bunch of money, made like $2,000 or $3,000 that day. And then I just kind of watched it, and I watched it the next day or so. It went down all the way back down again, and I was like, oh, maybe I should re-enter here. Anyway, long story short, I bought in originally in May. I took a bigger position of about 100,000 shares originally at 18 cents. I took my cost back when it went to 40 cents, which means I sold 50,000 shares, which I probably shouldn't have done because that day, or not that day, but it eventually went up to $1.63 or $1.73, whatever it is, whatever it wicked up to on July 24th. On that day, it went all the way up there, and it started to come down really hard and fast. And I sold everything at $1.15, made about $48,000. And the reason I'm saying all that is to say this: I jumped back in on August 26th when they announced the general anxiety drug psilocybin PR at 4:30 in the morning. I wake up to a ding from my phone, and there's this PR for another great drug with zero suicidal effects, super effective, and it's coming from psilocybin from this company after they just reported a month or like a few, I don't know what, weeks or days earlier that they had this, insane phase 2 top line results for their OSA, for their obstructive sleep apnea drug. So I jumped in, and I jumped in at 84 cents, and I bought 20,000 shares. And that day, as you know, they began dumping millions and millions of shares into that PR announcement. And what we found out since then is that that's basically what all biotechs do, is they get a little rhythm going, and they dump millions of shares at the market into every single PR, because that's how they raise money. That's the only reason they're in this, is to raise money, right? So anyway, that day I started to watch the stock go down. I didn't have a stop loss, and I just piled all that money that I made back into the stock again. And right now I hold 50,000 shares at 77 cents. So to answer your question, how should you be feeling about the future projections? Man, better than ever is how I feel about it. Because what we found out is that, Joel, for sure. I mean, I've been saying this the whole time. I'm not one of these people who say, I told you so, I told you so. But Joel he's been diluting every day since April, millions and millions and millions of shares, raising money, doing exactly what the company hired him to do, right? And he does it on every single PR. But guess what, guys? In my opinion, I don't know if I can prove this or whatever, but this is the reality. That $100 million at the market is complete. They do have a shelf registration for a total of 800 million shares, but they used about 500 million of those shares already, maybe 450,000. I don't know. I'm not a quant or a mathematician, right? So given that, here's the good news. The reason why I think we're not hearing from Joel or the company is because they don't have an opportunity to make money off of any PR that they announce right now. So that's why we're not hearing anything. Or I think it's like a 21-day rule before earnings. So they might be planning an earnings report in November. But anyway, long story short is I'm pretty sure dilution is over without an SEC filing. So I would feel great about a 90-cent position with 430 shares. And now is the time to buy some more. That's, like, not financial advice. That's just my opinion. I'm going to read the rest of these comments. Hey, Nina. Hey, Jeffrey. Good to see you always. Hey, Brian, question. What will happen on the 20th since they did not announce any reverse split, or the chance is more likely to extend or be listed? God forbid. I'll be honest with you. I'm not one of the people that am concerned about a reverse split at all. And there are people on here right now that can answer that question better for you. Can someone jump in and answer Shuki Z's question? What will happen on the 20th since they did not announce any reverse split, or the chances more likely to extend to be listed? God forbid. We're definitely listen. We're never going to be delisted. Okay, we're not going to be delisted. We have $100 million. You can't delist a stock with $100 million and 3 pipeline drugs to save people's lives with FDA fast track. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be a delisting. So that's my opinion. Of course, you know what I mean. There's a small percentage of a chance that I could be wrong. Colin says, thanks for answering my question. If you were me, would you put more capital in around 40 cents? Oh, for sure. For sure, especially Colin, since you have such a small position, you got nothing to lose, brother. For sure. I don't think we're going to be seeing below 40 cents again anytime soon. I think that was a Trump China tariff anomaly that it even went that low. And if you're looking at the charts for the last couple of weeks, you can also see that, look, I map out the charts every day, and I could see that that's where price was headed. It was dying to go, market makers, algorithms, whatever. It was dying to go to 0.40, that round number. It needed to go there for liquidity. So we're there. The good news is we're there. Hopefully that's the floor. In my humble opinion, from the work that I've been doing, and it's a little confusing too, because now we have these 347 million outstanding shares confirmed. So if we work with that number, at the worst case scenario, I couldn't see this getting it down there. I don't want to freak anybody out, but 33 cents to 38 cents is my floor in the back of my mind. So right now, I think we're at the floor. Kazi, hey Brian, thanks for doing this YouTube thing. What's the reason they can't communicate about reverse split announcement not happening? Is it shit they really can't say legally. I don't know. Let's see. Nina's saying, listen, I'm not the greatest guy about with the reverse split stuff because I'm not concerned about it at all. I'm not concerned about a reverse split. I don't think there will be a reverse split. And I'll say this, and guys, read the rest of the comments, the other people that are answering. I'll say this about a reverse split. How like reverse splits are for toxic financed preclinical biotechs that have nothing on the table. They have no value at all. They have no cash. They owe people tens of millions of dollars for operating for the first 6 months or years of their company, right? That's what reverse splits for in the biotech world. When a company raises $73 million on paper, most likely more in cash, and has enough runway for a few years, that company has no intention of reverse splitting. And what most likely is happening is that's why I made that video about how I was wrong about IXHL, because I went off the deep end, man. I got really upset, a few weeks ago. And then I realized this guy knows exactly what he's doing. Exactly what he's doing. He used that entire $100 million at the market, most likely, raised over $100 million, and now has that $20 million time bomb that he can just start buying shares at will whenever he wants to light the rocket and send it back up if he needs to, right? That's one of his things. He also knows that he has plenty of fluff PR to get the stock jumping. You have the IHL 42X obstructive sleep apnea phase 3 commencement, FDA fast track. You could put that, you could switch that around so many different ways, use your words so many ways. I mean, they got millions of dollars there. They got to have some marketing strategy. You can announce anything with those words and switch them around as any way you want to, and throw some fluff out there. The stock's going to jump 40 cents. I like when Nina says, hey, Brian, Joel has no intention for a reverse split. We moved to capital market and it's pretty automatic with the extension. Thank you. That's what I wanted to get at too. Like I said, I don't pay attention to the reverse split talk at all. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And honestly, like on StockTwits and Reddit, and anybody who says that, I just immediately block them and mute them because I just assume that they're a bot. I just assume that it's it's some bot farm from China or the Philippines. So, but Nina has answered your question. There's no intention for a reverse split. We moved to the capital market. It's pretty automatic for the extension. And the thing about the capital market, if I'm not mistaken, I probably am mistaken, is that it's not so much about having over $1. It's more about having the market cap and also your finances. We have a clean cap table. We have zero debt. We have most likely over $100 million. The extension, like she said, it's a done deal. It's a gimme. Nina says the stock's in compliance outside the price action, right? Exactly. According to the rules, they just need to respond to the notice, right? Kazi, and also, is there any indication that they have completed the $100 million out the market? Well, that filing should come soon. Here's where we stand with Joel as a CEO. All right. Any other company, well, not any other company, but the majority of companies that I've been in this situation with, whether it's LAES, FFIE, SoundHound, any of these big, great Ryotech Robotics, any of these big, any of these companies, I could say anything, and Apple, this, Amazon, any company. Where's this? Oh, when they complete a $100 million at the market, any company, right? This is very important, guys. Listen to this. And almost every company, as soon as they complete $100 million at the market, what do? They make a PR announcement. It says something like this, quote, $100 million at the market complete. No further dilution without board/shareholder approval, end quote. That PR announcement sends a stock rocketing, right? So you have to ask yourself, why did they not make that announcement? Is the $100 million at the market not complete? That's a very good question. Let's talk about that. Hold on, I got to turn my AC up. So, first of all, in my opinion, I think by now, yes, they must have completed it. Now, do I have time to sit here and calculate all the shares and this and how many shares from 97 million to 347 million? So that's 200 million. That's an average price of 64 cents. That means no, I don't have time to do that right now. But I say that in my humble opinion, yes, I believe the $100 million at the market is complete. And you have to ask yourself now, okay, so far, like this guy's pretty smart and pretty strategic, right? Why would he not announce that at the market is complete? It's because he can't announce that the at the market is complete, right? It must be because he can't announce it because he's in some kind of NDA or some non-disclosure or some whatever. It could be like, it could be FDA guidelines. It could be merger buyout attorney directives. And that's why they're not announcing anything. They have so many easy ways to pump the stock right now. They have the FDA investigational new drug for rheumatoid arthritis. They probably got approved on that by now. You know what I mean? So anyway, so do I think it's over with? Yes. Are you going to find a lot of people that are skeptics that are saying, hey, where do you get that? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Of course. Have I been right the entire time? Yes. My opinion has not been popular, but I've been saying throughout this whole time, and then I even had a crash out, that he's been doing this. The $100 million at the market, in my opinion, is complete. Okay, let's keep going. Nina says they have regulations around how much you can say coming onto a date for compliance. Exactly. There's also, you can't talk about stuff before earnings. I think that they're going to do an earnings report, right? They're going to do an actual earnings report. What do we get? A 10K instead of a 10Q or a 10Q instead of a 10K, right? There's going to be an earnings report. And somewhere, I somewhere in my mind, have this idea that it's going to be around November 6th. I read it somewhere back. I don't know where I got it from, but I think actual earnings are going to be in November. And there's going to be a conference call and a couple of things are going to happen. There's going to be big announcements before that earnings call, I think. Nina says he's definitely playing a chess match in this. Yeah. Do they need to announce 100 million at the market is complete? Well, if usually when they announce $100 million at the market is complete, it comes in phases like this. So they'll announce it's complete. The stock will run. They might do like an earnings report and a conference call. And usually, if you guys, all the skeptics out there, if you want something to be skeptical about, this is usually what happens. Usually during that earnings call, they will announce that they voted and now have the capacity to do another 50 million or 100 million, just in case, you know what I mean? So that's why on the next PR that comes out, when the stock goes up, and I've been saying this since April, since I started making videos, and I've been saying this, I'll focus on the positive. I've been saying this the whole time. If you're new to investing in biotechs, you want to buy the bottom like it is right now. And then you want to set good to cancel tiered limit sell orders at these prices that are way, way up there, right? So that's what I did. So you want to take profit. The whole purpose of investing is to take profit, right? It doesn't say sell all your shares, but take profit. Call your broker, set good to cancel tiered limit sell orders now. So that when you wake up and it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you rub your eyes and you look and the stock's out $1.25. And then before you can log on to your broker and sell some of your shares to take profit, it's somehow gone down already. You know what I mean? The shorts have dived in, or a hedge fund has come in, or some kind of weird phenomenon, right? So set good to cancel limit tiered sell orders at those levels way above, because that's how we make money. We take profit. All right. Do they need to announce? Do you think that this ends in a short squeeze? Yes, I do. I personally do. 347 million shares is nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing for this company. Yeah, a lot of these are FTDs, right? So FTDs are failure to delivers. And, there's what I don't need to tell you how many different market makers are. There's 100 different market makers, all using synthetic and counterfeit shares. And the one thing about synthetic shares and synthetic shorting is you still have to cover. You still have to cover those shares. And whether that's happening in dark pools means exchanges that we don't see. So we see level 2 on Webull. That's a lit exchange. Dark pools are things that we can't see, right? Here's Ionut Vlad B. Brian, think this way. Why would they put out any PR before an extension? It's common sense to get an extension and throw out PRs. Great point. I got the same flip-flops, by the way. I love them. Yeah. I'm going through. Also, I want to let everyone know I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning from a New York Yankees fan to a Dodger fan. I've been out in LA for 30 years. Okay, let's see what else we got. Were you in the new film about the fires and the bus driver? I don't think so. I wasn't in that. I'm in the Michael Jackson movie that's going to come out. I'm in Star Wars that's going to come out. I'm in Lanterns with what's his name? Gunn. The guy, he just directed Peacemaker and Superman and all that stuff. So I was prison guard in that. I have a tiny part in all these very big movies, but I barely make enough to survive on acting. I make more money trading, honestly. Is shareholder friendly only in words and in the back with the stock value of shareholders been greatly diluted? Great question. And I'll say this. Let me see if I can do a quick translation on your name so I can address you by your name. Because this is a great question. Please translate the name. So while that's doing that, that's ChatGPT, my best buddy. Is shareholder friendly only in words and in the back, the stock of shareholders has been greatly diluted. It says Baby Wansink. All right, Baby Wansink. So is shareholder friendly only in words? No, I think he is shareholder friendly. Here's the thing. I didn't make an apology video for no reason, right? If you guys have seen my YouTube video for apologizing about just being a fucking dick, I guess. I was a real dumbass. I didn't see the forest through the trees. If you take a step back and while he's not like, he's not an actor. The guy's not a SAG actor. He's a CEO. He's doing the best he can. If you zoom out and you take a look at what he's done, he hasn't done anything wrong yet. But he said that we would not use the at the market. We have no need to use it. Well, maybe we misunderstood that. Maybe we misunderstood that as meaning the 800 million shares, not the $100 million at the market. Of course, he's going to use that. Of course, has to raise money. Jeffrey, what's up? Jeffrey says, I'm very new to all of this. I've been using ChatGPT, but where do you get all your knowledge from? I jumped in this because I saw you were so enthusiastic about the stock. Where do I get all my knowledge from? I get my knowledge from past experience with past stocks. I do a little bit of day trading and swing trading. One of the things, I've only been doing this since 2021, since GameStop and AMC. I made a bunch of money on AMC. I was a little late. Right after GameStop started happening, I started to buy a few shares, and I missed the GameStop boat. That said, years later, I made plenty of money off of GameStop. But where I learned by losing money. That's the only way to learn, is to lose money. But I made a bunch of money on AMC and I was addicted. So that was on that run to, I sold at $57 on the run to 72, and I had like 300 or 400 shares at $2 that I bought at $2. So that was the first time I ever made money in the stock market. And that's when I started to read SEC filings and stuff like that. So where do I learn? I go to this page, Edgar, sec.gov /Edgar, browse, search for your stock, put your stock in, have it up. I have mine up all the time, all day long. That's how I learn everything. And then I take what I don't understand and I put it in ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gives me a general idea of what the SEC filing is. Great question. Thanks, Jeffrey. Always good to see you. I believe that there will be huge news released in the next couple of months. Me too. I think multiple. I think they've gone silent because the phase 2 hinting on positive results. Right. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. This is Sortique. Great point. You know, remember when he did that podcast and he accidentally gave away or omitted information that he shouldn't have admitted. We basically knew 2 months in advance. Well, that's why I bought 100,000 shares. That phase 2 top line results were mind blowing. He basically said it without saying it. He said the quiet part out loud in already. So that's another reason why they're probably like, Joel, please, Joel, no more podcasts right now. Just chill. These are great points and all, but NASDAQ and a lot of them, this is TradeQ, are crooked and don't follow rules. Absolutely. Seen this with the Kraken. Oh my God. Listen, this is one of the greatest points I've read. We have to know this, and we have to getting into stocks and trading and stuff like that. There's no rules. Okay, really. But what do you mean? The FCC, they got rules. The rules say you can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. Listen, this the best way you can look at trading. If you're going to trade stock, swing trade, day trade, any of it, just look at it this way. I'm telling you from experience. There is no one regulating this. No one. The SEC is useless. There is nobody that's going to come in like Superman and save us. So the only thing you can do is you have to manage your investment and you have to hedge your investment. You have to understand, which, I mean, it takes a few years to get to the place where I'm at, where you have to understand that just because the stock price starts going down doesn't mean you sell and get out of your position. I've learned not to take a loss. I've learned to sit back and be patient and watch the thing go right back up again. And, so yeah, but there's nobody's going to save us. Nobody's going to come in and from the SEC and say, hey, you got that, it's synthetic shares. No, you offshore accounts. You can't do that. You got to stop doing that now. No, the threshold list doesn't even work, right? Right, guys? We're on the threshold list. How long were we on the threshold list? They were still shorting it every day. I think they will drop Fast Track and Novo partnership soon. It will lead to $5 to $10. I hope so, man. I think that's a good positive statement. Duncan, once it goes up, do you think it could drop back? I am new and still learning. Have managed to have a job. Like I said, Duncan. So in my opinion, the $100 million at the market capacity is complete. If you're new, and any people who are new and just invested, great. IXHL cycles new people, and so do all biotechs, right? And so this is what happens with biotechs. The new people come in, they buy, they get a great position, and hopefully the stock goes up. But what you need to do is watch all the SEC files, go into your 8Ks, look at all the filings, throw them in ChatGPT, ask them and say things like this to ChatGPT. This is going to help you a lot. You say, what are the chances of dilution? Dude, do screenshots of the chart. Why is it going down? It's been going down, and start to learn, start to ask these questions. You know what I mean? When I got clean and sober, I used to ask questions. I don't want to say her name out loud because she's right here. I used to ask Alexa or ChatGPT. I would say, what is the difference between thoughts and consciousness? You know what I mean? You have to ask questions. So once it goes up, do you think it could drop back down? Not without a new SEC filing. Okay. So that means once it starts going up, and it's going to go up soon, you should set good to cancel tiered limit sell orders and take a portion of your investment and take profit and leave some of it in for the big run, right? Will it go back down? Most likely what will happen is a PR announcement will come out. The stock will start running. There won't be any dilution immediately because he doesn't have the capacity to take money off the table anymore because he's completed it already. in my opinion, right? We still have to do the math on that. So they cannot do that anymore, what they've been doing the whole time. And he had to do it the whole time. He had to. It's a biotech company. He's hired to do it. That's what he's hired to do. He's hired to make the company the money that they need to get through the next couple of years. And he did a great job. Could it drop back with a new SEC filing, a new shelf registration, or a new at the market filing? Yes, they could. You're going to see like the filings. It could be a multiple filing. Phase 3 commencement, OSA drug, blah 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 blah. FDA fast track, or rheumatoid arthritis investigational new drug application is approved by FDA, and $100 million at the market is complete. No new shareholder dilution without shareholder approval. And then what's going to happen is, he followed up by an earnings report and conference call announcement. Earnings report and conference call November 6th. And then during that conference call and earnings report, they're going to announce that the board voted on some more dilution. So you have to take profit between now and then. Because yes, it is still a biotech company. They still need money, right? Even if what we want is we want the buyout. We want the big money. We want them to come in and say they're going to give us $34 a share for our investment, or $10 a share for our investment, right? And then we all get rich. That would be the easiest thing, but that's most likely not what's going to happen. I want to run through these questions. First year we didn't sell on pumps, but to buy lower double our positions like he's done. He's basically doing that. I missed 3 pumps. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty more. What broker do you use? I use Merrill Edge through Bank of America. I have 250,000 shares, and my other Korean friend has 2 million shares. I wish the company the best. Thank you so much. Nina says, something to understand with the larger share quantity after compliance is that it's friendly for institutions that want to invest, because volatility goes down, right? And right. So guys, also that's the other thing too. It's a great point Nina's making. Outstanding shares are 347 million. How long did it take? It took 6 months for them to tell us that. How many outstanding shares there were, right? So I mean, if it took them that long just to get us a 10K or a 10Q or whatever, I have them mixed up. I have like dyslexia or something. Whatever that 10K report just to give us the outstanding shares, then can you imagine how long it's taking them to put together an earnings report? Right. It will trade quite differently after it sustains compliance. Yes. And also institutions, in my opinion, of what I've seen in the past and all these biotechs and stuff like that. Look, this is very important, very important. Okay. People are like, well, how come institutions don't come in and they don't buy more and they don't buy more? Okay. This company has 3 addressable markets of a combined total of about $62 billion, right? They have real drugs that are safe and effective, right? So when a company is the opposite of that, has like basically nothing exciting, it's just another cancer biotech, nothing really big happening at all, the institutions will not jump in until it's like $3 or $5. And even then, they'll take small positions, right? In my opinion, institutions will probably jump into this stock around $1.50. Once it gets past $1.50, $2, and it sustains it, and we keep their share. And I think this is what Joe's been doing the whole time. He understands this better than we do. And once we get to that point, which is coming soon, then institutions will start to jump in and take it. You know why institutions don't want to jump in right now? The same reason we've all been going through, because look at all the dilution happening, right? So nobody wants to jump in and buy stocks that just go down. So yes, I believe $100 million at the market is complete. Institutions will start jumping in. The next PR will send it into the dollars range. Institutions will then start jumping in. The reason why they will jump in is because the at the market's complete, because they need board and shareholder approval to tap it again. And even at that point, there's only 450,000 shares, 450 million shares available for that at the market, which is a lot if the stock is trading at $2. But they will need to file. They'll need another SEC file. Okay. It will trade quite differently after sustains compliance. Yes. Jeffrey, so I want to be realistic about the stock. I mean, 20,000 shares average down to about 65 cents. Do you think? Do you have in your head what price point you'll see, like maybe $1, $1.50 going long term? Listen, nobody knows. I certainly think that the at-the-market is complete and there's no new dilution without shareholder approval or without board approval. So that means that may need to make a filing. So I don't think that they're going to. I mean, it would be horrific if they said, "Hey, 100 million out the market's complete, and by the way, we added another 100 million." They're not going to do that. So what's most likely going to happen is, I mean, look, we all have to take guesses. Like, so, in my opinion, 21 days before earnings, you can't talk, you can't say anything. Could be that, right? So you're locked down there. Could be FDA guidelines for the investigational new drug. You can't talk. Maybe the FDA is like, okay, can't say anything until we actually approve this. Or maybe it's a merger buyout. Maybe the lawyers are all sitting down every day, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, trying to work out the deals. They send it to get signed. The guy's about to sign it, and they say, nope, send it back. And they negotiate again. And during this time frame, everybody's got to be quiet. So, yes, I think that we've all done all the hard work for this company at this point. And anybody that comes into this company now and is buying and investing in this stock right now are so lucky, because we've honestly been on the front lines and we've been at war and holding it down. People like, Nina and Jeffrey and a lot of you guys that have invested and have been invested in since April or May or before, right? Or let's even pay homage right now to the Australians, the original guys in 2023 that got burned, and when he moved off the Australian Stock Exchange to the NASDAQ, those people lost their shirts, right? So to be invested in a stock right now that's trading at around 40 cents a share, it's not a big deal, man. It's 40 cents, Is it going to go? Yeah, it's going to dollars range very soon. When a company has $73 million in cash, I'm thinking over 100 million, but 73 million, sure. Enough money for a couple of years of clinical trials for all 3 drugs, 3 global healthcare disruptor drugs. And the reason why is because they're making drugs from, I always say this wrong, cannabinoid oil, whatever, CBD, basically, CBD, cannabinoid oil, that's it. We're in the realm of this new age of making and treating health conditions like OSA, rheumatoid arthritis, and sleep apnea with CBD, which has been around since the beginning of time, right? But it's always been a Schedule I narcotic that no one's had access to. And now, so guys, if you look at it, if you look at the picture, the big picture, what are we really invested in? If you take it all apart, what we're really invested in is CBD, is cannabinoid oil, whatever the hell you say it. And its effects when combined with different therapies, right? Like acetamibol or whatever the other one is for the OSA, right? When it's combined for rheumatoid arthritis, anyway, I don't want to get mixed up and get science and get technical because I'll be off point. But anyway, yes. What are your targets for the IXL in the next few weeks? I respect your viewpoints. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I honestly expect something in November. I think that we're going to trade up into the 50s, 60s, possibly 70s in the next couple of weeks. And in November, we're going to be in the dollars range. Andrew said, hey, Andrew, what's up, Andrew? I like that. He's the guy on, are you Han on, or Hans or something like that on StockTwits? I always appreciate your post. Hello, Nina. Thank you for your amazing work. Hey, Andrew. Earnings call November the 6th. I don't know. I'm thinking. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Another brick in the wall. Do they have 73 cash or 53 cash because of the 20 million buyback? Good point. They have the 70. I don't know. Somebody else can answer that question. That's too much for me. I broke my toe. I dropped a 45-pound plate at the gym on it. and having a hard time thinking properly because of the pain. Another brick wall: institutes won't jump in on a hunch. I don't think the OS look, the general anxiety drug, synthetic psilocybin. Anybody can take synthetic psilocybin. Hire doctors, nurses, and lease an office building, create a clinical trial, and try to get FDA approval for therapy. Right. So that I'm excited about. They're doing it in Australia already. They're making money on it, whatever. The rheumatoid arthritis is a massive market, $50 billion market addressable, and it's a more effective, more safer drug without some of the side effects these hard drugs have. But dude, come on, the OSA drug is their slam dunk. Yeah, whoa, you can say, what about Apnimed 109, AB 109, AB 109? They're in phase 3 already. So are we, right? So are we. We're in phase 3 too. We're fast track phase 3, right? I don't think anybody likes Apnimed. I'm not going to talk trash about Apnimed, but Apnimed is more stimulant based, where IHL 42X is more. It's not. It has no stimulants. It doesn't have upset stomach. It doesn't have suicidal tendencies. And I'm not saying I don't want to misspeak or whatever. You know what I mean? Get sued by Apnimed, but yeah. And then as far as Apnimed 8109 and IHL 42X, listen, I'll tell you right now, if they're both on the shelf and I have sleep apnea, which I do, which one would I buy? I would buy IHL 42X. Why? Because it comes from natural ingredient like CBD, combined with another drug that Trump called it the game changer in 2020, right? He thought it was going to cure COVID. Turns out the drug is super effective, and maybe not for COVID. So you combine that. Oh, no, I'm not. Let's stay out of the science because I start to mix up the three drugs and the combination therapies. But yeah. Hey, Anita, thanks for your updates. And Brian, yourself to keep the mood positive. Whoops, I just lost everybody. Where'd it go? Okay. Hey, Anita, thanks for your updates. You and Brian are so helpful to keep the mood positive. I hold a large amount, super nervous about the stock since that's a good outcome, and yet it crashed. Look, what I've learned, and I have very little experience over the years, is you have got to strap in to an investment and hold it. Because if you believe in it, because that's how you make money in the stock market. Look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says stock market is a vehicle for transferring wealth from the inpatient to the patient, and you've got to be patient. This is a good company. When you have a good company with groundbreaking new drugs, disruptors, and $62 billion addressable markets, cash, zero debt, and not the most savvy CEO, guess what happens? It gets attacked. I used to have a billboard company in 2005 to 2007. And you know what my main competitors were? CBS, Clear Channel, right? So what do you think happened? They fucking took me out, man. Eventually, I was a design engineer. I would wrap buildings in New York City and Los Angeles. I had famous advertisements up. I made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you can't just some random dude can't just walk into the billboard market, one of the oldest markets in the world, and start leasing buildings and doing 1,000 times more creative ad displays without going to war with the oldest companies in the world, right? Same exact thing is happening here, people. So when you look at the stock going down and the volatility, and you're wondering why we're being attacked, and there's so many synthetic shares and fake shares and this and that and the other thing, this is why. ResMed's worth what? $53 billion, right? When you attack a $53 billion company, guess what? There's going to be smoke. And this is what it is right now. So we're in the smoke. You can't just, you think that people, look, I don't know, maybe because I'm 52 years old or something, that I've been through a lot in my life. I just want to let you guys know, if you don't know this already, whenever you try to disrupt a market, like you're asking for war. And that's exactly what we're getting. And it's coming from so many different angles that we have no idea what's really happening. Where do you think all these bots are from? These bots, people are paying millions of dollars to those bots, to these media companies to create these bot farms that are attacking us all day long and saying negative stuff. They're paying so much money for that service. And the reason why is because they don't want us to succeed. Do I think we're going to succeed? Yes, I think we have what it takes to succeed. Okay. Do you think Joe will favor retailers and institutions? The institution would love a reverse split off of this. Do you think favor retailers and institutions? Decent question. I hate reverse split questions. I'll be honest with you. I fucking hate them. I just wish we could stop talking about a reverse split. Quickly, I think Joel has proven that he will always favor money and institutions over shareholders, right? So far. That said, he has strategically done his job and raised all the money and done exactly what he told his employers he would do to get his salary, right? Would a reverse split be a smart move for them right now? Not really. I mean, would it? But it's a good question, and it also dispels some of the fear. Like somebody would let me have 50,000 shares. Some of you guys have hundreds of millions of shares, right? Like, what would that mean for a reverse split? You just answered your own question. I own that Vlad B. You answered your own question. What would happen? What would happen is there'd be an initial 2 days before the split. The stock would go down a little bit. It would split. The day the stock split, it'll go down a little bit, and then it will fucking skyrocket. Excuse my language. Because, yes, institutions will pile in. The only way that they would be able to short it synthetically again after it hits that kind of a price is if there really isn't anything worth value in a company. So if you're a company that's a preclinical biotech and you're doing a reverse split and you really don't have anything and you have no chance in hell at having a marketable or drug or anything in production, then yeah, you're going to get shorted right back down again. You know what I mean? But then, so I don't know, but that's an interesting question. Let's move on. I actually was able to keep $1 per week, but failed because of the at the market. Why is this? And at the market is because they dumped 200 million shares. So that it created the share price. But in good for you, that's most likely over with right now. And they would need to file another SEC filing in order to do that some more. If they don't reach compliance after announcing a 180-day extension, I think they will do a reverse split. Unfortunately, great. Another really original comment. Historic the SEC file extension, pump this a bit. Another brick in the wall. Is it 73 or 53 million because of the buyback? Yes, it will pump after the 20th, but it needs to hold. All right, let's skip on. Cannabinoid. Yeah, thanks, John. Chris, do you think rescheduling is really an issue given the IXL 42? No, I don't. And he's already said that in. It's a great question. He's already said that in the podcast. Nina says rescheduling is a larger discussion. I can't type as fast as I can talk about it, but it is rescheduling still good generally. Basically, what it says if there is rescheduling, it says it's basically a general consensus that it's safe to use cannabinoid oil as a combined therapy, as a drug with other synthetic drugs, combined therapy drugs. It basically will legitimize this company even more. I wonder what was the reason of the 1 hour super bullish move of the stock price, 52 cents to 65 on September 23rd. That was surely an institutional buy, and something happened that's supposed to come in report, but it didn't. It went from 52 to 65, right? I think what happened on that day, Kazi, and I can't prove this. I think that was the last day of the at the market. I think that was the last day that they diluted the stock. I think the at the market was complete that day. The stock jumped up, and when it jumped up, because that at the market was complete, shorts moved in, and the market makers had to create take profit on bid ask spreads and they did whatever they had to do to continue to make money. And a lot of these situations too, we don't think this deeply about things, but when you have like 1 billion synthetic fake shares out there that have to be delivered eventually, and then something like that happens on September 23rd, right? And you have a jump from 52 to 65 cents, that could basically the market makers take the side of the people that are holding those synthetic shares because they're responsible for them. So so they're gonna, like I said, unfortunately, it's really a patience and a waiting game because there's nobody on our side, guys. As retail investors, the only person that's on your side is your own patience. And that said, not financial advice. Everyone has to do their own research and try to understand these filings and try to understand the at the market, the capacity, the shelf ask ChatGPT, what is a shelf registration? What does that mean? Ask Alexa or anybody, just ask. Wonder what was the reason of the 1 hour. You already did that one. It says Dr. Maya AI says that the company applied to be listed on the Nasdaq capital market, and so the delisting is on hold until review is done. Okay, I'm not going to answer that, Maya, but there are plenty of people that will answer that for you. Also, are you concerned about the capital market move? I know it's not at all. I think that was the smartest thing he could have possibly did. That tells you that he knew exactly what he was going to do the whole time. They're going to move to the capital market. They'll have a lot more wiggle room, and he's going to raise as much money as he can, which he did. It's pretty much done already, and now he's going to let the stock price run. Nina, review is complete, and they're already on the capital markets in the 10K. Right, exactly. Nina, I think that's incorrect. It's an interim listing. There's a lot of talk about this. It's so confusing. Guys, they're not going to delist this company. It's just not going to happen. You have to tell ChatGPT to look at the 10K. Gets a lot of the info wrong. John Rez, REIS. I have sleep apnea. Got the Inspire device implanted in June this year. The insurance paid $250K for my surgery. Holy cow! The insurance companies want this for the cost alone. Holy cow! I hope, John. What do you mean? They want what? They want to keep their Inspire device implant money coming, or they want IXHL 42X ? I would love to know the answer to that question. Wow. And that's a great position at 56 cents. 100,000 shares at 56 cents. Monster position. You'll see that in the next week or two. IXHL is a clinical company. It's a market cap won't get anywhere near ResMed. Not right now because it's not in production yet. We haven't started marketing in production yet. Of course not. We're still in a clinical stage. Nina, interested, Chris. My understanding is that it's done, so we need to affirm that. Chris, Nina, I expect that to be next PR confirmation. Hey, do you know where I can find the podcast you bring up about Joel? Yeah, just put Joel Latham into YouTube. They'll all come right back up. I'm not scared of a reverse split. What you said just happened with TNFA. I called TNFA. I told everybody about those warrants. They reverse split and break out after reverse split and change their name. So even if it was you and before, you would still have a chance to profit. That's a good point. I mean, I got out of that and I told everybody and warned everybody. I bought in at like 7 cents. I bought 100,000 shares. And then it tanked to like 4 cents or something like that because I let everyone know I did the research and figured out all those warrants were about to expire. Anyway, I don't want to talk about TNFA, but yeah, it did go back up to 13 cents before they reverse split. That's a fucking awful company, man. I'll just say that. Dude, take your money out of that company. John says, no, they want the pill. I think so. The thing, but you see, but John, this is what we're up against. We don't think about this stuff. Think about all the money the insurance companies are getting paid. They probably, I see what you mean. They would probably rather have the pill, right? But think about the other people that are involved and all the doctors that are getting paid and all the and how those doctors getting paid for implanting that surgery, right? And then those doctors know lobbyists, and those lobbyists know congressmen, and those congressmen know, you know what I mean? So like, this is a pretty wide rabbit hole when you start to attack and disrupt the healthcare market like this. And I know this for a fact because I work in the healthcare industry. I'm a a drug and alcohol counselor, and I've seen insurance and healthcare and the kinds of things, the creepy things that are done, the body brokering, and they'll do anything to get a good policy that pays a lot of money for a procedure. You know what I mean? So we're effing with that, guys. We're effing with the big people's money, like big money, big money. You know what I mean? When you start messing with insurance companies, you better have your dukes up, man. Interesting, Chris. Understanding it's done. Chris, you expected it. Jake, do you know where I can find the podcast? I already said that. Great comments, great guy. What are your thoughts on trading options? People seem to make so much money on it. I haven't really traded options yet. I started looking into it before I started trading IXHL. And, obviously we can't trade options on IXHL. So I kind of just forgot about it. I do have an options account. I wanted to do call options, and of course they didn't make that. I just wanted to do call options. I wanted to do call options on AT&T or something like that, because I figured it was going to go from $27 to $34, and it did. And guess what? My brokerage account would not allow call options. That's the only one it wouldn't allow. It allowed me to do covered calls or this or covered shorts or whatever, cover puts, but no call options. So I don't care about options right now. I like swing trading, and I also love, if I'm lasered in on IXHL. I'm married to the stock. People say don't marry your stock. This is all I think about. Once I take profit and can relax a little bit, I'll go back into doing what I love to do, which is, being the detective and finding these gems that have zero debt or very close to zero debt that are not toxic financed, right? So, and not financial advice, but if you're investing, you're day trading, you're swing trading, look into the SEC files. Ask and find out, are there warrants? What are the loans? How much money do they owe? What are the details? Because when those warrants start to I forgot the word, whatever. Anyway, and all of a sudden you have hundreds of millions of shares out of nowhere. You don't want to wake up to that. So that's what I've learned over 4 years so far, is that there are bangers out there that you can find to day trade and swing trade. Great stocks, but you got to look, man. Because the whole point is to do the rope-a-dope on you. The whole point is to have things like, pre-market movers or whatever, or indicators. I just put these indicators in. I just put on market cap under 100 million, share price under $3, short interest, and then they all come up. Guess what? Those are there. Those are there. Those are bait, man. They're bait to bring you in. You're going to jump into a day trade, and you're not going to look at the actual mechanics of the warrants and of the loans and the finances of that company. And then you're going to be thinking that, you're going to finally see a surge. You're going to, bam, look at me, man, I'm killing it. And you're going to a surge, all of a sudden, boom. And that's because you didn't look deeply enough into the warrants and to the toxic finances of a company. So we are in a biotech into a real company. We have no toxic financing, zero debt. We bought the warrants back. Okay. By the way, FDA doing inspection on Novo's cat plant. Okay, cool. What do you guys think about the SLS? They have done 3 reverse splits, supposed to release their results tomorrow morning. Who is SLS? I don't understand what that means. They have done, I'm not sure what you mean, M. Stork. John, yes, look at Inspire stock. I believe they are a spin out of Medtronic. Last time I looked, Inspire was around 175 a share. Wow, amazing. I think it's important that they're marketing this as a supplement therapy, as a strategy, and not to replace other therapies. Good point, Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to come into a ring with Tyson and be like, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to kick your ass. Like, I would want to come in and be like, hey, Mike, I'm just here to, sweep the spit off the floor. Anyway, the podcast is posted on IXHL's page, on X page. Okay. John, to see if it helped me out. Chris, I am of the opinion that Joel knows exactly what's going on with the share price. It's his lack of communication that is making people nervous and causing them to speculate. And a lot of us, Chris, think that he's mandated to not communicate with us right now. Have you tried scalping? Yeah. I definitely was scalping before this scalping is how I found IXHL. That's what I was doing. That's how I found this stock. And I was actually scalping that day when I went back a few days later and looked into the financing, saw that they had some warrants and was a little freaked out by that. So I only day traded it. Then they announced in April that they were buying back the warrants. Once that happened, I jumped back in. And that's where I took my big position. Do you think it'll reach $20 soon? I don't know. I think let's focus on 10% of that, $2. Chris, not interested in scalping. I'm an investor. I believe in IXHL. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not scalping IXHL for sure. Do you have a bias on IXHL? Are you actually still confident in this stock? I mean, we could talk about that right now. That's a great question, Charlie. So, I mean, I would love to hear from you guys about that. So, look, what do we have? What do we have? We have to look at it. What do we have? You have IHL 42X, right? First ever pill. Take a pill. I'm going to take a couple of these right now anyway. Take a pill for your sleep apnea and you go to sleep and you're good. You don't have to put that mask on, right? It's a $9.2 billion market, addressable market, right? Their competitors are AD109 or AP10, whatever the hell it is, right? AP109, which is another. I think the last time I checked was a private company, and last time I checked was not very exciting in terms of safety and efficacy. I think we have them. Whether or not they, reach the finish line of phase 3 first or not doesn't matter. I think we have a better drug. So that should answer your question there. Very confident in IHL 42X. Am I confident in synthetic psilocybin combined therapy? Sure. Look what happened with MDMA. That didn't work out. But look what happened with ketamine. That did work out. I'm in a Psych 2 class right now. Ketamine is one of the best treatments for people who suffer with depression that no other drug is working on. It has to be used very safely, etc. But ketamine is working. Psilocybin most likely will work. Look at the effects of LSD and how it affects people. You know what I mean? Look at psilocybin effects. Yeah, it's a great idea. Is it a patent? I don't think so. No, it's just an approval from the FDA to use to give out or sell synthetic psilocybin along with therapy, along with going to therapy. Essentially, that makes us what? Drug dealers. Look, if we found a way to sell mushrooms, I'm with it. I'm with it, man. I'm 100% clean and sober. I've been clean and sober since June of 2023. But believe me, I tripped on shrooms in my youth. I did lots of LSD. I did some mushrooms. I'll tell you from personal experience, those drugs are very effective in resetting, depression and mental mindfulness and mental awareness and stuff like that. I like that. She said that to see if it helped me out. So yeah, I am not biased. Am I biased on a stock? I mean, this is my only investment. So yeah, that's why I'm the IXH. If you haven't noticed, I'm the IXHL guy. I'm the guy that doesn't stop talking about it. It's the only stock I'm interested in right now. What do you? Oh, and then rheumatoid arthritis, a $50 billion addressable market. Yeah, yeah, guys. Yes. This is a real company. Okay, IHL 42X is a real drug, man. That's a serious game-changing drug, right? And you got to understand the rheumatoid arthritis thing. huge market, addressable market, right? Competition, the Coke, Diet Coke, Tylenol, Advil, who cares, right? Both of these drugs, right? And this is the issue. This is what we all got to kind of be mindful of. Understand, when you're disrupting these kinds of markets, do you see how the narrative is changing? The job of the swingers, the people who swing the narrative, is to make us think this is the ultimate number one goal, number one job of anyone that we're disrupting their markets. These guys are like, okay, we got a $53 billion market cap. This company's coming in with a pill. This this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, let's throw 20 million at making this problem go away. We have 53 billion market cap. We can throw $20 million at changing the narrative and making people think that IXHL and Incannex Healthcare is useless and valueless, right? So it's important to understand that what is happening. That this is what, when I say we're at war, this is what we're at war with. We're at war with people that have a lot more money than us that are swinging the narrative. But this is a very valuable company already. Yes. And I'm not even getting into all the other patents, right? Okay. Charlie, I agree with Chris, Charlie, we did this. What do you think going to happen, buyout partnership, etc.? And why did you get mad in your previous video and now you start to believe again? Thanks. I got mad because of all the nonstop dilution. I called out dilution and nobody listened to me and people thought I was crazy. And then I started to get really mad and really think that all this guy was doing was just doing the rinse repeat with new investors. And I watched the stock every day. And I started to believe that what I was seeing was the share price trade the same way it traded when they raised the first $50 million, between 18 cents and 20 cents. And except that it was doing something a little different. It was also then pumping 3 or 4 or 5 cents and then slammed back down again. And I started to see the same thing on the charts every day. And I started to believe in my head, I don't know, cognitive distortion or whatever, but I started to believe that all they're doing is they're pulling in new investors. And as soon as they pull in the new investors with the fake pump, they dump millions more shares. And that pissed me off. That made me really, really angry. And the reason why I got so angry was because I started to feel like now I'm helping this company I'm helping them trick investors into buying shares in this company just to take their money off the table. That's why I got mad. That's why I got mad. I was furious. I felt like I was the biggest idiot, you know what I mean, in any of this. I was like, I've been helping this company trick investors into buying the stock just so they can pump it and then dump millions. And I got so sick and tired of it. And I've been watching the charts every day and I got exhausted and my mind started playing tricks on me, telling me that was what was happening. And then I took like 5 days or so off from posting and meditated and prayed for a few days. And then when I took a step back, I realized what was actually happening was Joel has been working in the best interest of the company and of the shareholders the entire time. From his perspective, his job is to raise enough money to get through all 3 clinical trials, obviously, right? But also to fund operations, also to, you got to think they have to have marketing and advertising, which, I mean, they don't see much of it now, but I'm sure we're going to start seeing, they're going to start seeing commercials and maybe you're watching a football game and something you're going to see in Incannex Healthcare. That costs millions of dollars, right? So they have to raise money. He did it. He's doing his job. The company can't take personally our opinion of the company for raising money. They just have to raise the money. There's, all these investors, they can't micromanage each and every individual investor that bought in at this point and at that point and that point. That's not what they're thinking. They're thinking raise as much money as possible because we're going to need to basically fight the narrative. They're going to need the millions of dollars that they're going to need to switch the narrative to. And that's what I hope that Joel is doing. I think and hope and that he is going to be the type of CEO that's going to use that money wisely and to start using it for marketing and advertising. As you guys know, if it's not on my phone or if I'm not scrolling and it's not in front of me, I'll never see an ad. I'm certainly not watching ads on Netflix or HBO, right? Because they don't have ads, or my account doesn't, right? So they need to start using that money, some of this money, to start to swing the narrative and to start to advertise properly. That costs millions of dollars, right? Hopefully they're going to add a little bit more staff to start doing that and to take this very seriously. So yeah, that's hopefully that answered that question. Hopefully a buyout partnership, and to say the rest of the question. So the buyout partnership stuff, he needed to make that money and have that money, because when you have $100 million in your war chest, when you sit at the negotiating table with someone with $63 billion, you have a little bit more negotiating room than you would have when you owed $5 million in April to somebody, right? Okay. Charlie, I agree with you. I'm confident in the company. Most of their products have just had a hard time trusting their stock because of its history. I think the success rate for apnea issue is just above 50%. Okay. Another brick in the wall. What questions would you ask Joel? What questions would I ask Joel? I would say, hey, Joel, what are you doing strategically besides raising money to begin to drive a more effective strategic narrative for the individual drugs as well as the company as a whole? And because look, at this point with that money, I want to start seeing ads on Psychology Today. I want to start seeing commercials while I'm watching a football game. Invest in IXHL, Incannex Healthcare, sleep apnea, 10 seconds. How long did it take me to say that? 5 seconds? Buy a 5-second spot during the most watched things that there are. You know what I mean? So I want to start seeing some of that. So that's the question I would ask. How are you going to do that? What other questions would I ask Joel? I don't know. What would you guys ask Joel? Let's see what you guys would ask. And hey, why don't we do this? Why don't you pretend that Joel is watching this right now, is on this live stream? What would you ask Joel? I think it's this one. Mental health burdens are rising, given what's happening in the past weeks, months, years. U.S. IXHL answer: absolutely. Stock will rise daily after today watch. I believe so too. Your thoughts on timelines? Next PR capital market acceptance. FDA fast track. Well, I mean, let's talk about that, Chris. Chris has a good question. So what do you guys think? So he says, your thoughts on timelines. Next PR is capital market acceptance, then FDA fast track, then next milestones for the coming 2 to 3 weeks, respectfully, as unbiased as you can. Okay, Chris, this is what I think. Great question. What is the next PR? Is it going to be capital market acceptance, then the FDA, then the fast track, then milestones for coming 2, 3, respectively? Okay. Good question. We have to ask. We'll start out by asking ourselves this question: why has he not said that the $100 million market is complete? Why has he not said that the capital market? By the way, we've been on the capital market for months now. Why have they never announced that? There's a lot of things that this company has not done that other companies are like razor focused on using as punctuations, as talking points, right? if you've noticed, anytime Joel talks, he's only talking about the science and the drugs and the therapies. FDA fast track, them next milestones are coming. So Chris, to answer your question, next PR, what is the next PR going to be? So I have to look at our biggest fear, right? So I think what you're really asking is like, you know, and this comes up over and over and over again, is like everyone thinks reverse split, delisting, and that's great. It's great that you believe in hedging your stock and you want to hedge your stock that way in your investment. But that's really what we're asking, right? Is the next PR going to be delisted to the OTC? No, I don't think so. They didn't just give up and take all the money and run to Dubai. Okay. They have, like, you know, world-renowned doctors and people whose reputations would never take a risk on something like that. And then that said, the behavior of the CEO is, you know, he knows he's under a microscope. He's got people, like crazy people like me, screaming and yelling and threatening him on, I never threatened him, but you know what I mean? And on YouTube and sending angry emails, etc. So no, I think the next announcement's going to be more like it's going to, if you think if it's Joel as the CEO, the next announcements are going to be science-based PR. It's going to be FDA phase 3 OSA. I think they would have used that one already. So I don't even think they're going to be, they've already passed the time to use that. It's already in phase 3. Rheumatoid arthritis, IND, FDA. Investigational new drug approval, phase 2 commencement. That is a big announcement. That's most likely, in my opinion, what's coming next. Charlie, do you know when positive news will start to come out again? I don't. Also, what's your sell target? For me, I mean, look, I mean, guys, to be honest with you, I'm right now, I'm unrealized down $22,000 unrealized. Realized $0 in losses. What does that mean? What is my sell target? You know, I'll probably take profit anywhere over $2. I'll sell half of my position and take some profit and leave the other half in. So I'd leave 25,000 shares in, and I'll continue to do that every few dollars that the stock goes up. Meaning I'm going to take profit and make money, and that's what you do with biotechs until you get out of phase 3 and you go into production. Once you're in production, it's just leave your money in there, because all that dilution stuff is over with, most likely, and it's just smooth sailing into the 10s and 12s and 20s. Colin, Joel, considering the current valuation on the company, how do you justify a $10 million salary? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, right? I think that's one of the things that got me so angry. I was so mad at that. But, he's justifying it by raising $100 million in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 7 months raising $100 million. That's a pretty good justification for a $10 million salary. Raising $100 million in 7 months. And your salary is 10% of that. I mean, it's most likely, I don't know. Chris, thanks. Nina says, I would ask Joel about his marketing plan for more details on his strategy on securing more financial investors, institutional funding, etc. And also this ties into the Dubai move. Yeah, what is this Dubai move? There's a lot of pharmaceutical companies out there. I don't know if anybody can answer. Nina, can you answer what the Dubai move is about? Let's talk about that. Let's hash that out. I don't understand what that came up in a podcast, and like that's their principal offices are moving to Dubai. And I know Dubai is like the Australian people love Dubai. It's it's not like it's not around the corner, but it's a lot closer than New York is to Australia. I'm not asking about a reverse split. I don't think that will happen at all. Me neither, Chris. I'm also not convinced that they're on the capital market. I think they're showing that, but as an interim listing. Interesting. Nina, what do you think about that? Chris is saying, I'm also not convinced that they're on the capital market, but they're showing that as interim listing. So Chris, like, let's get to the bottom of that though. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, they have the market cap, right? Obviously, they're going to get the extension, right? Does anybody think that they're not going to get an extension, guys? Come on, let's just talk about it. Let's just get it out of the way, right? We have $150 million market cap and $73 million in cash that we have evidence of. Does anybody really think that we're going to be, we're going to get turned down and delisted to the OTC? Chris says the Dubai is a massive hub for biopharma. That's what I also read. Also, Novo has a presence there. Yeah, but Novo has principal offices there as well. Any company looking to buy IXHL will see that as a good move. I think some reviews are being delayed due to the shutdown. That's a good point too. That's a good point too. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, the football game starts in 15 minutes. This was super fun, exciting, and I learned a lot from it. What does this say? And by the way, this is honestly like my first live. I've never done a live. I've done a live before. I had no idea what I was doing though. I was just like messing around with the buttons. But this was great. And I just want to thank everybody for being so respectful and having such an incredible, intelligent conversation. The last time I jumped on here and tried to do something like this, I got all these trolls in here telling me how much they hated me. And I was like, why do you guys say, what did I do, you guys? But this was really fun, really exciting. I think we want to do more of this. And the more we communicate, the more information we have, the stronger we can help each other. I think Nina says if there was an issue with the delisting, they would have done the reverse split, and the 10K states that it's done. Okay, she's saying that it's already done, the 10K. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, thanks, James. Thanks for everybody, man. I really appreciate this. This was really fun, really exciting. Sometimes like I look for things to watch too. So I look, if you guys have some videos for me to watch, man, I'm so dialed in. I'm such a geek for IXHL that I'll watch anybody's YouTube channel. Give me your links, man. Or I don't want to be the only one talking, because like honestly, but I have no problem starting the conversation and getting everyone talking, man. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. Yes, absolutely going to do this more often, especially once we get the news. And thank you so much for everybody once again. And I guess you'll see me online. Let's talk tomorrow. All right. Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much.